Everybody, welcome back to Cameron Sports Podcast. I'm your host here, Cameron Lindsay, aka Six Pack Cam, back with another episode. Before I get into it, baseball season has finally, the regular season has finally ended. We are now in October. Playoff baseball is here. So I'm a little excited, to finally cover more baseball to my channel. I know I got some baseball fans out there, and you want to discuss baseball, give my opinion during the playoffs and on the season. So I'm here for that. Today's episode will cover that, and also my weekly predictions for Week 6 of the 2023 college football season and Week 5 of the 2023 NFL season. But let's get into it. Let's start with some baseball first. So now the playoffs started this Tuesday, the wild card round. We had the Rangers versus the Rays, the Blue Jays versus the Minnesota Twins, the Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Miami Marlins versus the Philadelphia Phillies. So all were pretty interesting matchups. Especially, the Rangers and the Rays. The Rangers were pretty much good all year. The Rays started like 24-1. I'm gonna get into that a little bit more differently. Even though I didn't, like I said, I'm not doing this episode till like right now. So you probably see this episode Friday or this weekend when the divisional rounds start. But I had picked the Rays to win it. Now, like for those you don't know, the first round of the playoffs is the best of 3. So the first team to 2 wins that series, and then the division round is 5. I think the National League and the National League Conference Championship and American League Championship Series are 7 games, and the World Series is 7. But like I said, I remember the wild card round used to be 1 game. Like I was like, what? Imagine winning 90 plus games or 100 games playing in a wild card round. Because like you could be the better team, but it's like in professional sports, you could probably be the better fighter, the better team, better player, better runner. But anybody could be anybody on any given day, especially at a professional sport like MLB, football, basketball. I mean, well, really, most of the time, a better team should win a 7-game series. But a 1 game, like even like the NCAA tournament in basketball, March Madness, women and men's and women's NCAA tournament, the better team can lose like that. We all seen number 1 seeds lose to an unknown school in Maine. I don't even know what's in Maine. Like Kentucky. Like LSU, Angel Reese and LSU, they may lose in the first round to some unknown school in Maine next tournament. But let's get back to these games. So it started Tuesday. I picked the Rays to win mainly because like they was pretty really good all season long. Especially at the beginning of the season, they started 24-1. So I'm like really it was like 20 something 0 or 24 like 27-1. It was like they had won almost 30 games with like only 1 loss, and they was on fire. So I'm like, oh snap, the Rays may be really, really serious this year. And next, they end up in the wild card round. The Baltimore Orioles win the division. The Yankees missed the playoffs, so a lot of things happened. I thought the Rays. Now, game 1, the Rangers did beat the Rays 4-0. In game 1, mainly because the Rays had a lot of errors. They had players dropping balls on stolen bases. The pitcher dropping balls. The pitcher throwing back. Like really, they had like easy outs, but the players kept dropping the ball, and then the errors, and then of course the Rangers capitalized on those errors and getting 4 runs and a 4-0 win in game 1. And I'm thinking like, okay, the Rays should bounce back, because if you don't bounce back, you're going home. It's the best out of 3. So you got to win 2 straight to advance. Nope, that did not happen. In game 2, the Rangers beat the Rays 7-1 Wednesday night to advance to the American League Divisional Series against the Baltimore Orioles. Like I said, I'm disappointed in the Rays. I thought they'd be a lot better. So extremely disappointed. Next up, the Blue Jays and the Twins. I picked the Twins for this one. Like I said, the Blue Jays got a good team, but I feel like the Minnesota Twins were a little bit more consistent all year. They won their division, so I picked the Twins. The Twins beat the Blue Jays in Game 1, 3-1. And it's funny, they won 3-1 in Game 1, ending a 18-game postseason losing streak. And then they turned around in Game 2, beat the Blue Jays 2-0 to advance to the American League Divisional Series. So the Twins will play the Houston Astros in the divisional round. Next up, the Diamondbacks and the Brewers. I picked the Milwaukee Brewers. Like I said, they won their division also. I did not see the Diamondbacks make the playoff this season. Even though like this year I'm getting more into baseball, I watched the Diamondbacks and their baseball team the past few years has not been good at all. Just like the Baltimore Orioles, pretty mediocre. And I was shocked when they made the playoffs. I picked the Brewers to win because the Brewers are usually good. And they do pretty decently in the playoffs, but the Diamondbacks beat the Brewers were leading the Diamondbacks 3-0 for most of the game, and then the Diamondbacks came back, ended up beating the Brewers 6-3 in Game 1, and then in Game 2, Wednesday they beat the Brewers 5-2 in Game 2 to advance to the National League Divisional Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And lastly, in the wild card round, we got the Miami Marlins versus the Philadelphia Phillies, who are the reigning National League champs who made it to the World Series last year. I picked the Phillies to win this series. The Phillies beat the Marlins 3-1 in Game 1, and then they turned around and beat them in Game 2, 7-1. So that really ain't surprised me there. But I was real shocked that the Rays couldn't even win one game at all. They only scored in both games combined, they scored 1 point. So they was outscored about I think 12-1. Yeah, they're 12-1 in both games outscored combined. But But now let's get my predictions for the National League and American League Divisional Series. Start up, we got the Phillies versus the Atlanta Braves. Our Atlanta Braves. For those who live in the Georgia area, Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City, Alabama area, or even in Atlanta. So, but I'm going. Last year the Philadelphia Phillies did beat the Braves in the National League Divisional Series. I was pretty shocked. The Braves pretty much dominated their division, winning it again. But even during the regular season, the Phillies did give the Braves a little trouble. So the Phillies always play the Braves pretty tough all during the season. But I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go the distance. I think it's gonna go 5 games. I got the Braves in 5. I think they'll bounce back from last year. Ronald Acuna is having an MVP season. He should be the National League MVP. Like I said, I like the Braves pitchers like Strider, Max. I forgot how to pronounce his name. I like him. Austin Riley, and them boys. I think they're gonna be ready to play. Braves country is gonna be pretty loud. Even though I will say home field advantage in baseball, like baseball and hockey are probably not as strong like in football or basketball, but it's still good to have a home playoff game. But I'm going with the Braves over the Phillies in 5. Next up, we got the Texas Rangers versus the Baltimore Orioles. Like I said, the Rangers coming off a sweep against the Tampa Bay Rays, which shocked me, and the Baltimore Orioles are coming off. They shocked me coming off a really good season, winning 100+ games. I did not see this coming. I know last year they weren't that bad last year. They got better, even though they didn't make the playoffs. They got better last year, but the year before that, they was horrible. And the year before that, they was horrible and bad. So I think it was to the point where it was so bad that I don't even know how fans kept going to the games. But I'm gonna go Orioles in 5. I think the Rangers are pretty good, but the Orioles are also. So I think I'm going with my gut feeling. I'm gonna say Orioles in 5. Next up, got the Minnesota Twins versus the Houston Astros. I'm just go Astros in 4. I think the Twins will at least win 1 game. I thought Astros in 5, but I'm gonna say 4. They're already defending World Series champions, even though I think they're cheaters. Cheaters never prosper for young boys and girls, so don't ever cheat. But they are the defending champs. Now, if it goes 5, I ain't gonna be surprised. If the Twins win this series, would I be surprised? Yes and no. When I say no, is because, like I said, I think the Astros are cheaters. So I won't be even mad if I get this pick wrong. But I'm gonna say Astros in 4. Next up, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm gonna go Dodgers in 5. Like I said, especially with they got a couple of National League MVP candidates on their team. One of them being Freddie Freeman, former Atlanta Brave. The Diamondbacks coming off a sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers, so they're a lot better than I thought. But I'm gonna say the Dodgers should win in 5. I'm gonna give the Diamondbacks a couple games. I think they can get a couple games off the Dodgers. Just like I said, teams that who get home field advantage and get like a first round bye, I feel like they might be a little rusty. Because the teams that will play in the wild card round that won, they're stretched, their muscles are good to go, they're ready to go. So that's what kind of worries me a little bit. But about teams like the Braves, the Orioles, or the Dodgers. So. But let me know what y'all think of the first round of the MLB playoffs. Did you have the Rangers beating the Rays? Did you have the Twins beating the Blue Jays? The Diamondbacks beating the Brewers? The Phillies beating the Marlins? Who you got in the divisional series between the Phillies and the Braves, the Rangers and the Orioles, the Twins versus the Astros, the Diamondbacks versus the Dodgers? Just let me know. Like I said, I always welcome any opinion, whether I'm right or wrong. And whenever, like I said, every time I bring a guest on my podcast, whether it's my dad, family, a friend, a stranger, or somebody I just met, I don't have to. Like I said, I don't even want to be right all the time. I'm gonna come prepared now. I'm coming with my notes. But if I'm wrong, I can admit when I'm wrong. Just that's how it is. That's the life of a journalist. Especially in sports media, you're not always going to be right, especially when you pick games or debating anything about a game or player, you're not always going to be right, and I want to be able to, I just love debating. I love debating. I don't just, and for those of you who be like, who think I just talk the talk, I come prepared. I watch these games. I don't just the MLB playoffs. I didn't just write this down. I literally watched all these games. Even while at work, I'm watching the games, checking score. I'm watching them come on now, give your boy some credit. I'll be watching. So, but the MLB, the American and National League Division Series kick off this Saturday. So I'm gonna have this episode up before then. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty good, interesting. I look forward to getting more. I'm gonna try to. I don't know this Saturday, probably not. But if the Braves advance, I do want to go to a playoff game. I would love to. If not, it's okay because I'm not gonna trip. But definitely, my goal next season is to definitely go to some more Atlanta Braves games. I want to support the team more. I want to get more into baseball, even more. Because who knows, I might have a chance to work for MLB Network or anything. So, and my channel is all about covering different sports, not just certain ones, multiple sports, so. But let's get into my college football week 6 games for this week. Now I got a couple highlighted, mainly the first matchup I got is Thursday between the West Virginia Mountaineers, who are surprisingly 4-1. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm glad I was wrong about my Mountaineers against TCU. I thought we was gonna get blown out. because Garrett Green is hurt. Nico Marchiol is a redshirt freshman, so he's still young. We don't really got a really good passing game. I think every game this season we have failed to pass for, I think, but up to before the TCU game, I don't know if he did pass for 100. I look more into it, but before then we hasn't passed for 100 yards. Now our rushing game is good, like from the quarterback position, and of course by CJ sophomore running back CJ Donaldson and some other players, so we can run the ball. I'll say that, but I feel like we're gonna need to get better in the passing game, like because next more teams going to watch film and they're going to stack the box or have a quarterback spy on the Garrett Green. So, but yeah, we're 4-1. Like I'm glad we are. I take the win, even if it's ugly. I'll take it. I'm not saying I'm a really realistic fan. Do I think we're a really good football team? No, I think we're average, to be honest. But average can get you to a bowl game. You can be 6-6. That's 500. That's average. You can get to a bowl game. 2 more wins. Come on, you can get 2 more, West Virginia. You can get 2 more. I believe in y'all. You can get 2 more to a bowl game. 2 more. So, but yeah, I'm glad I got that wrong against TCU. But they play Houston. This is Houston's first year in the Big 12. They'll be playing their former coach Dana Holgorsen, who's the head coach of West Virginia before Neil Brown. This will be on the road. So I think if I was West Virginia, I'll be motivated to get this win against a former coach. So I'm going to go West Virginia. Houston is 2-3, so they're not really that good. I feel like it could be a close game. I feel like we can get the win. I think we can get the win in Houston. We got to. And I feel like if we do, that'll help Neil Brown's chances of really keeping his job at the end of the season. I think now the only way he'll probably get fired, if we lost the remainder of our games, he'd definitely get fired. But I'm going West Virginia over Houston. This is a Thursday night game, 7 p.m. All right, let's get to some Saturday games. All right, we got this is my second game I got highlighted that I got my eye on. The Red River Rivalry. Ooh, sorry. Red River Rivalry between number 12 Oklahoma, who's 5-0, versus number 3 Texas, who's also 5-0. Now, I think it's gonna be a pretty good game. Oklahoma is way better than last year. Brent Venables got that defense playing very, very well. Also, the quarterback is playing. Dylan Gabriel is playing pretty good. Also this is a rivalry game. Even though both teams in the Big 12, they're both going to be going to the ACC. So I hope the Red River rivalry continues as they both go into the ACC next year. But I'm gonna have to go with Texas because I think Texas is more deeper. Even on defense, especially on offense, with, of course, Quentin Ewers, who's a Heisman Trophy candidate. You got A.D. Mitchell. You got Xavier Worthy. You also got I think I said pretty much everybody. They got a pretty good defensive players on their team. They can run the ball. The defense is playing pretty well. Like I said, Oklahoma, Dylan Gabriel has been playing well, but I don't know, will he be able to match Texas offense blow for blow? So, but I still think it could probably be a good game somehow, because like I said, both these schools hate each other. So I'm slightly going in a close game. I'm going to go Texas over Oklahoma. And if Texas win this game, then I could possibly say, Texas may be back. Texas may be back. Because they do got really good recruiting classes. They got Arch Manning. They got another 5-star quarterback, Malik Murphy, who's in front of Arch Manning. So really, Arch Manning is a 3rd-string quarterback. So they're pretty loaded. I think they're gonna be next year. They're gonna be a SEC contender next year. Next up, we got Maryland, who's surprisingly 5-0, versus number 4 Ohio State, who's also 5-0. Ohio State coming off a couple weeks ago, coming off a big win against Notre Dame on the road with I think they got the win with 5 seconds left in the game. Maryland, like I said, a lot better this year. Of course, with Tua Tagovailoa's younger brother. I forgot his first name, but he's really, really good. I don't know about first rounder, but I think he's gonna be a pretty decent quarterback to draft in the next year's draft. If this game was in Maryland, I may say it could be close, but I'm gonna go Ohio State. Even though I just feel like Ohio State gonna have too much firepower, they're gonna run the ball. Marvin Harrison Jr. is gonna get hot. Ibuka's gonna get hot. I don't know if Maryland, especially on the road, if Maryland's gonna be able to keep up with Ohio State. But I mean, it could be a close game. Maryland's better than I thought. Next up, we got 23 ranked LSU, 3-2, coming off a heartbreaking loss to Ole Miss, versus the number 21 ranked Missouri, who's 5-0. Now this one, even though I don't got to highlight it, it's hard to pick because Missouri's a lot better than I thought. Mainly, I guess, thanks to the transfer portal. LSU's not as good as I thought. I thought they'll beat Florida State week 1. They didn't. They got obliterated off the field, mollywopped. And then they got beat by Ole Miss, who got pretty much mollywopped by Alabama. So it's like I don't know. They're not as good as I thought. But I think I'm gonna have to go with LSU in a close one. I think LSU is going to bounce back. They're not a bad team. They're just not as good as I thought. It's going to be a close game, so I'm going to go LSU over Missouri on the road. Next up, we got 13th ranked Washington State Cougars, who are 4-0, versus UCLA, who's 3-1. Washington State is a lot better than I thought. Their quarterback, I don't know why I keep forgetting names. Ward. I think his last name is Ward. He's pretty good. They're a dark horse contender in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is deep. It may be the last year of this conference. If it is, they're going out with a bang. But I'm gonna have to go Washington State. I think Washington State got too much firepower for UCLA. Even though UCLA does have a phenomenal freshman quarterback in Dante Moore. I just think even though it's on the road, I just think it's gonna be too much for Washington State. I mean, too much for UCLA to handle, even at home against Washington State. Next up, we got Virginia Tech, who's 2-3, versus the 5th ranked Florida State, 4-0. We're not gonna waste no time. We're going Florida State. I don't think Virginia Tech is very good. Florida State has a Heisman Trophy candidate in Jordan Travis. They got Keon Coleman. They got the big 6'7" target Johnny Wilson. Now, if he can not drop any passes, then he's a big mismatch. That's the only thing with Johnny Wilson. He's 6'7". He can run pretty good routes. It's just that he has trouble time to time of dropping passes. So if Johnny Wilson can catch the passes, and of course Keon Coleman doing what he does, the phenomenal transfer receiver from Michigan State this past offseason, Florida State is going to be pretty fine, especially with Jordan Travis at quarterback. So I got Florida State in a blowout. Next up, we got 11th ranked Alabama, who's 4-1, versus Texas A&M, who's also 4-1. Now, 2 years ago, Texas A&M did beat Alabama at home, but I don't think this year. I just don't see it. It's possible. I think Alabama they have found some success right now, and their success is mainly running the ball, playing defense like they did in the old days when they had A.J. McCarron. Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron, and them boys is, run the ball and play great defense. You got the number 1 corner in football right now, Kool-Aid McKinstry, in the country. You got pretty good freshman, safety, and I forgot his name. I'll remember it later after this episode. I know his name. But yeah, Kool-Aid McKinstry. You got Dallas Turner, who's possibly going to be a first-round pick. There's 2 first-round picks in your defense that you're going to have in the 2024 NFL draft. So I'm going to go with Alabama. Maybe Texas A&M could possibly keep it within 10. Like, Texas A&M has the talent. That's not the problem, because they can recruit. Even this recruiting class, they got the number 1 receiver in the nation, Cam Coleman, wide receiver out of Phoenix City, Alabama. They got him and a couple other 5-star, 4-star players. So they got the talent. It's just that Jimbo Fisher hasn't produced. It hasn't produced at all. So, and I don't trust their quarterback at all, especially against Alabama's defense. So I think Alabama's going to roll over Texas A&M, at least by 10, bare minimum. Next up, we got Syracuse, who's 4-1, coming off a loss against Clemson, and they're playing against Drake May, And then 14th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels, who's 4-0. I'm going to go North Carolina. Even though Syracuse is better than I thought, I trust Drake May. He's going to be a top 3 pick in next year's NFL draft. He's phenomenal. So, like I said, I trust him way more than I do Syracuse quarterback. So, next up, I got this game highlighted. This is my third and final game I got highlighted for this college football Week 6 games. Number 20th ranked Kentucky, 5-0 versus number one ranked Georgia, who's 5-0. Now I got this game ranked because Georgia hasn't really been the Georgia we know in the past couple of years. They've been dominant back-to-back national championships. Of course, but they don't have Stetson Bennett. They don't have Jordan Davis or N'Kobe Dean or Nolan Smith or Carter. So, I mean, they do got Mikael Williams, who's their best player. He's phenomenal. Sophomore defensive end out of Columbus, Georgia. And they do got Brock Bowers, who's the number 1 tight end in the nation, not even close. But like I said, I mean, like Carson Beck has been playing pretty decently. Even though last week in Auburn it was close, they could have lost that game, but they won it thanks to some phenomenal catches by Brock Bowers. Kentucky's looking pretty good. They got transfer quarterback Devin Leary I can't pronounce his name, out of NC State. This game, I feel like this game probably gonna be a little close because Georgia, the past couple games, has started off slow. Like against South Carolina, they was down 14-3 at the half, or 14-0 at the half, and they ended up winning 24-14. And then they was down by at Auburn, and then ended up winning that game late. So, but I'm gonna go with Georgia in a close one again over Kentucky. Even though they're the number 1 ranked team, I will say that in my opinion they aren't the number 1 ranked team. I'll probably have to go with Texas. I think Texas got arguably the best win this season. That's because Alabama at Alabama. So, but yeah, that's the third game I got highlighted. 20th ranked Kentucky and number 1 ranked Georgia, both undefeated, both 5-0. Next up, we got number 2 ranked Michigan, who's 5-0 against Minnesota's 3-2. Not gonna waste some time. I'm going Michigan. The Blake Corum, JJ McCarthy. Of course, Jim Harbaugh is back. He came back last week from his 3-game suspension. So Michigan has been looking very pretty. Even though their schedule, I will admit, their schedule, just like Georgia, has been very weak, but they've been dominant. They handle business. If you got a weak team, beat that weak team. So they've been handling business. So Michigan won't play a good team, like an interesting team, probably to like Penn State and Ohio State. I think them the only 2 games I found interesting on their schedule is Penn State and Ohio State. Next up, we got 10th ranked Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, 5-1 versus 25th ranked Louisville, who's 5-0. Now this game, Louisville has been pretty good this year. Notre Dame also. They came out a heartbreaking loss a couple weeks ago against Ohio State, last second because they had 10 men on the field. But Sam Hartman has been playing very well. They almost lost to Duke for last week, but they came and won the game. Sam Hartman literally took the game over with his legs, and they got the win. So I think I'm gonna have to go Notre Dame in a close one. I think, like I said, Louisville's gonna play hard. They're better than I thought, but I trust Sam Hartman. I think Notre Dame finally has a quarterback they can trust, not Tyler Buckner, who's a 3rd-string quarterback right now for Alabama. I try to tell some friends that he's not it. Like, why do you think he's the reason he left Notre Dame? Because of Sam Hartman. He couldn't beat him out. So, next up, we got Arkansas, who's 2-3 versus 16th ranked Ole Miss, 4-1. I'm going to go Ole Miss. Now, a couple years ago, this game was a very great game at Ole Miss between Arkansas and Ole Miss. I don't know this year because KJ Jefferson is not playing all that well. Their team is not. Maybe it could still be close, but I'm going to go Ole Miss. I trust Lane Kiffin. I trust Jackson Dart in the Ole Miss offense, especially at home. Oxford is I went on a field trip visit when I was at junior college in Mississippi. We went on a trip to Ole Miss, beautiful campus. It's a beautiful college town, pretty much like Morgantown, West Virginia, at my former school. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go Ole Miss. Next up, we got Georgia Tech, who's 2-3, versus 17th ranked Miami, who's 4-0. Now, I don't think Miami didn't play last week, but I keep forgetting. I almost forgot his name. Not Mario Cristobal and them boys. I ain't gonna say Miami's back, but they're playing a lot better than they did last year. And of course, I think I think Georgia Tech has not been playing good at all, and I think Miami's gonna blow them out. I don't even think it's gonna be close. Blowout. Next up, we got 24th ranked Fresno State, who's 5-0 and doing really well this year, versus Wyoming, who's 4-1, doing well this year. I'm gonna go Fresno State. It's gonna be a close one because, like I said, Wyoming's a pretty good, decent team. They did beat Texas Tech at home in overtime, so I would not underestimate Wyoming, even though they're playing an undefeated ranked Fresno State team. So, if you're a Fresno State fan, do not underestimate Wyoming. Texas Tech had to learn that the hard way at the beginning of the season. Next up, we got 15th ranked Oregon State, 4-1 versus Cal, 3-2. Oregon State coming off an upset win over Utah. I said if Cam Rising doesn't play, I think Oregon State can get Utah at home. Now, if it was at Utah, then I would have went Utah. But I went Oregon State because I trust DJ Uiagalelei, who's been playing pretty well this year. Oregon State's going to be a dark horse for the Pac-12 championship. And they got some pretty good players. So, plus without Cam, I don't know how long Utah can keep it up. I didn't know how long Utah could keep it up without Cam Rising at quarterback, because he tore his ACL last year in the Rose Bowl, so he's been out so far this season. So I still don't know if he's gonna come back. I don't think they got a game this week, so they should be fine. But I don't know when he'll come back. So I'm gonna go Oregon State over Cal big. I trust Oregon State. I don't trust Cal at all. Next up, we got Arizona 3-2 versus versus number 9th ranked USC, who's 5-0. USC coming off a close win against Colorado. Now, it was a blowout at first, but Deion and the boys came back. They came back. They would have won the game if due to some penalties and better clock management. But yeah, USC's defense is still not. It's better than last year, but it's still not up to date. They got to get it together. It's probably gonna be at least a 10-point game, but I'm gonna go USC because USC got the best quarterback in the nation, Caleb Williams. They got Zachariah Branch didn't play last week. They got him. They got Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son, the transfer last year from Colorado, who transferred from Colorado last year to USC, played for USC last year also. But yeah, I'm going USC over Arizona. But let me know what's y'all favorite matchup for this college football week 6. Mine is 12th ranked Oklahoma 5-0 versus Texas, number 3 ranked Texas 5-0, and 20th ranked Kentucky 5-0 versus number 1 ranked Georgia 5-0, and of course my West Virginia Mountaineers 4-1 versus Houston, who's 2-3. So I'm definitely gonna be watching that game. By the time you see this episode, the game already been happening because I'm posted Friday. As I'm recording now, it's Thursday, so the game's gonna be tonight. So can't wait for that. But now let's get into some NFL games. Week 5. Starting with Thursday night game, the Bears, who are 0-4 versus the Commanders, who's 2-2. I could go out. The smart thing to do would go Commanders. But I like Justin Fields. I hate to see him go through this. So I'm gonna go Bears. I'm gonna go Bears. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. My dad, I'll be talking trash to my dad sometimes. You know, who you saw in the episode, he says a lot. Even though I already know anything can happen on a given Sunday. These are professional football players. These are the best football players on the planet. So anything can happen. So I'm gonna go Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is better than Sam Howell. And but the Commanders, I'm worried about the Bears offensive line. The Commanders do got a really pretty good defense, especially led by the Alabama boys and Chase Young. So yeah, I'm gonna go Bears. I'm not on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm how confident am I in this pick? I'm gonna have to say a 2. I'm not very confident, but I just don't want to see Justin Fields keep on losing, because I feel like if they keep on losing, eventually they're gonna move off of him. I mean, that'd be good for him, because that team is terrible. So, but next up we got the Jacksonville Jaguars 2-2, coming off a win against the Atlanta Falcons. Now this game was not only televised; it was televised in London, and it's overseas. But they also televised it on Disney Plus. They had a theme and like Toy Story theme, like the players are toys. So it was pretty cool to watch a little bit of it on Disney Plus. They're going against the Bills, 3-1, coming off a dominant win over the Dolphins, 48-20. Josh Allen is looking like an MVP front-runner candidate right now. The Jaguars have had a kind of an up and down season so far, but I'm gonna have to go with the. And this game is 9:30 a.m. So this is another overseas game. Even though it's not at home, I'm gonna have to go Bills. I trust Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and the boys more than I do the Jaguars right now. So yeah. Next up, we got the Tennessee Titans, who are 2-2 versus the Colts, who are also 2-2. Anthony Richardson is back also from his concussion. The Titans coming off a upset win surprisingly over the Cincinnati Bengals. This one, both teams are 2-2. I'm gonna have to go with the Titans in a close one. I think, especially they got the better player with Derrick Henry. Anthony Richardson's a rookie. Maybe now if they win, I ain't gonna be surprised because they did beat the Colts, even though without Anthony Richardson. But also some news for Colts fans. Jonathan Taylor is back practicing. I don't know when he'll play, but he's back practicing with the team. Even though, in my opinion, he was never really injured. I feel like the team didn't want to trade him just for anything. So next up, we got the New Orleans Saints, who are 2-2 versus the Patriots, who are 1-3. Saints coming off a loss against the Packers last week, and the Patriots coming off a loss, a humiliating loss against the Dallas Cowboys on the road. Both of these teams are not really that good, especially the Saints. I thought the Saints are not as good as I thought they were. Their offense is like mediocre. Their defense is good, but the offense is mediocre. Mac Jones and of course the Patriots' offense is mediocre. Their defense is solid. They got J.C. Jackson back. I'm gonna get into that some news. Christian Gonzalez is out for the season. Also Matthew Judon is out for the season. So that's two big, huge losses for the Patriots defense. So I'm gonna have to go Saints in a close one over the Patriots on the road. Next up, now this is my first game I got highlighted. I got four games highlighted for this NFL games this week, week 5. First up, I got the Ravens, who are 3-1 versus the Steelers, who are 2-2. I got this game highlighted because one, it's the AFC North rivalry. The Ravens and Steelers both hate each other. Lamar Jackson is playing pretty decently. I don't know if Odell Beckham will be back this week, but they still got Zay Flowers. The Ravens defense is playing pretty decently, coming off a win against the Browns, even though Deshaun Watson didn't play. Steelers coming off a bad loss to the Houston Texans. I thought they would be better. Kenny Pickett is not looking good. Their defense is looking straight, even though they didn't last week. They had C.J. Stroud looking like the second coming of Peyton Manning. So I'm going to have to go Ravens in a close one over the Steelers. Like I said, it's still an AFC North rivalry. Both these teams hate each other. The Steelers defense is going to be ready. T.J. Watt, Mika Fitzpatrick. So I think it'll be close this week. Steelers make Kenny Pickett and the boys should play a little better. But I'm still going Ravens over the Steelers. Next up, we got the Texans, who are 2-2 versus the Atlanta Falcons, who are also 2-2. Texans coming off a huge home win against the Steelers. C.J. Stroud looked amazing. The Atlanta Falcons coming off a loss against the Jaguars. They didn't really look that good, especially the offense. The Atlanta Falcons they got weapons. You got Kyle Pitts, 6'6". You got Drake London, who's 6'5". You got Cordell Patterson, who hasn't came back from injury yet. I don't know if he'll come back this week. You got Bijan Robinson. You got another running back. I forgot his name. So you got weapons all over the field. It's really just a quarterback position. But I think, depending on how the Falcons do this year, like win the division or go to the playoffs, they may keep Desmond Ridder or they'll probably draft the quarterback. But in this instance, I'm gonna go Atlanta in a close one. I think Atlanta will get it at home. I almost thought about going to Texans. I think it'll be a good game because C.J. Stroud is playing amazing football right now. And the Texans are better than I thought. I thought they'll probably be like 0-4 right now. But I'm going to go Atlanta in a close one. Next up, we got the Carolina Panthers who are 0-4 versus Detroit Lions 3-1. Not going to waste no time. I'm going to go Lions. Lions coming off a huge win against the Packers. Thursday Night Football, Jared Goff and the boys look pretty good. They make Jordan Love look bad. And, you know, I don't know how Bryce Young is going to look against that defense. You got Aiden Hutchinson. The Lions got a really good pass rush. So I feel bad for him. They're already looking off to a bad start right now. So crazy, huh? Next up, we got the New York Giants who are 1-3 versus Dolphins 3-1. Again, this is another game I'm not going to waste no time. I'm going to go Dolphins. The Dolphins are motivated. I watched a little bit of a video off of Tyreek Hill's podcast. He said the loss to the Bills last week has brought the team closer together. They got a brotherhood, you know. They, know what to not know what to expect. They, I guess, kind of got a little humbled now. Like, they was feeling themselves, but now they're even more focused coming off their loss. They're even more motivated coming off their loss to the Bills. And I feel bad for the Giants who coming off a horrible performance against the Seattle Seahawks. I try to tell the Giants, pay Saquon. They should have franchised Daniel Jones. Now you're gonna at least be stuck with him. I think they'll probably move. I think they'll move off of him next year. Like, I think they'll give him next year. So 2 years, this year and next year, I think they move off of Daniel Jones. But yeah, I'm going Dolphins over the Giants. Next up, got the Cincinnati Bengals who are surprisingly 1-3 versus the Cardinals who are 1-3. Now, Joe Burrow did not play well at all against the Tennessee Titans. I'm shocked. I think it's because maybe he's still not 100%. I was watching a Pick a Side podcast. Shout out to them again. And he said they think the Bengals should sit Joe Burrow for a little minute. And I think I have to agree with them a little bit. If he's partially still hurt, not 100%, sit him. And maybe sit him for a couple games and then bring him back and try to go make a playoff run. Like, you can bounce back. Like, the Bengals started 0-2 last year. They're not a bad team. You got Jamar Chase. You got T. Higgins. You got Tyler Boyd. So you got Joe Mixon. So they're not a bad team. So I'm gonna go Bengals over Cardinals. If Joe Burrow does play, which I know he probably will, I'm gonna go Bengals over the Cardinals. They should beat the Cardinals. If they lose to Cardinals, then if they lose to Cardinals, I don't think they're making the playoffs. If they lose to the Cardinals with Joe Burrow, they're not making the playoffs. I'm sorry. And now, even though it'll still be early, it's over. It's over. Now, my third game I got highlighted are the Eagles who are 4-0 versus the Rams who are 2-2. The Eagles coming off a close win at home against the Commanders. Went to overtime. I was shocked. I thought the Eagles would probably, keep it way more spread out. Beat them by more. But the Jalen Hurts played better. I think, it's slowly if the Eagles are winning games and it's close, imagine what they look like when they're at full strength. So, but I also got this highlighted because the Rams, Cooper Kupp, I think he's going to be back. They got a rookie receiver out of BYU. I can't even pronounce his name. He's been playing phenomenal. I can't remember his name. He's been playing phenomenal. So, and they got, of course, Matthew Stafford. So, I think the Rams could keep this game closer than a lot of people would think. But I'm going to go with the Eagles. They've been finding ways to win games even without playing their best football. And that's okay because really it's about playing your best football when it gets closer to the end of the season when you're trying to make a playoff run or win your division. That's when it matters when you play your best football, really towards the end of the season and in the playoffs. That's when it matters when you play your best football. So it just kind of doesn't matter how you get your wins right now. Next up, got the Jets who are 1-3 versus the Broncos 1-3. I don't even know who to pick in this game because both of these teams are bad. Now, the Jets coming off a shocking loss. The only reason I say shocking because they kept it close against the Chiefs. I thought it was going to be a blowout. But Zach Wilson threw for 200-plus yards, 2 touchdowns without a pick. And the Jets defense stepped up. They picked off Mahomes twice. But, I'm going to have to go Broncos. I don't trust Zach Wilson. Unless they run the ball with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, then I'll go with Jets. If they do that, Jets are going to win. But if not, I'm going to have to go Broncos in a close one. I think Broncos win it close. Next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs 3-1 against the Vikings 1-3. Not gonna waste no time with this. I'm going Chiefs. Vikings offense is good, with Justin Jefferson and the rookie receiver Jordan Addison and Kirk Cousins. But the Vikings defense is trash, very bad. This ain't the just defense, so I think Mahomes is gonna play a lot better, and I think they're gonna blow the Vikings out. Next up, about the Cowboys who are 3-1, coming off a dominant victory against the Patriots, and like I said, this is my fourth game I got highlighted against the 49ers, who are 4-0. Now this is a rematch from the past couple of years from the playoffs. Last year the 49ers beat the Cowboys with Brock Purdy at quarterback. So this, I don't know. I got my eye on this game because I want to see, like, are the Cowboys for real? Can they beat a good team on the road? Because they can beat a bad team like the Patriots. You could beat a mediocre playoff team, but can you beat a team that's actually a Super Bowl, that's right now the best team in the NFL, the best team in the NFC? Even if the Cowboys do win, I'm not going to be like, I'll probably, okay, I'll give y'all that, Cowboy Nation. I'll give it to y'all. But I'm not going to get happy because it happens every year. The Cowboys do good almost every other year, and then they fall flat on their face. So, but I'm going to go 49ers. Brock Purdy has been playing very well. I trust the 49ers defense. I trust Brock Purdy. Even though I wouldn't say he's better than Dak. The reason I trust him is because he does what needs to be done. He does right. He fits the system with Kyle Shanahan. You got Deebo Samuel. You got Brandon Ayuk, who's having a pretty good year. I said he's going to have a breakout year this year. You got George Kittle, the second, third best tight end in the league behind Travis Kelce. So, and you got Christian McCaffrey out. I almost forgot him. We got Christian McCaffrey at running back. So I feel like they got better receivers than the Cowboys, better O-line, better defensive line with Joey Bosa, not Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, and Eric Armstead. And of course Fred Warner, the best linebacker in the league. So I'm going to go 49ers. It might be close. It probably might be a close game, but I'm going to go 49ers. I trust Brock Purdy more than Dak and the Cowboys. Monday Night Football. Lastly, we got the Packers 2-2 versus the Raiders 1-3. Not going to waste no time. I'm going to go to Packers. Even though the Packers lost last week against the Lions, Jordan Love has been looking pretty good this year. So it looks like Packers might have a franchise quarterback. The Raiders are the Raiders. Even though you got Devontae Adams, they're not looking good. Jamie G, I don't know. The Raiders are just the Raiders. Josh McDaniels he may not be quite fit to be a head coach. I'm going to just say that. But I got a few points here before I end the show. Khalil Mack had 6 sacks against the Raiders last week, which is a Chargers single-game sack record. So, like I said, when we got Khalil Mack last year, that was a win. Like, cause I know a lot of people think like Khalil Mack don't got it no more. I think he still got stuff left in the tank. I think potentially he could be a Hall of Famer. He's a really good pass rusher. He had like 8-9 sacks for us last year. He already got 6 this year, all in one game. Even though my Chargers defense is terrible, yeah. And also speaking of my Chargers, they have traded cornerback J.C. Jackson back to the Patriots after one season of signing a 5-year, like $70-80 million deal. Which at the time I'm thinking like, yeah, we got J.C. Jackson because he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Like he will all stay getting interceptions. But it's like, but in reality, I see why the Patriots didn't pay him because he's a system guy. He's not as good as we thought he was. At least not in our system. Let me tell you what he did last year. Last year when he was played before he got hurt and was out for the year, he was getting burnt, not shutting down a receiver, didn't get an interception. This year was getting burnt. He did have a pick, but he get in trouble with the law. He got benched a couple times when he was healthy. So at this point, I was just like, I don't even care if they release him or trade him. So I just don't care. I don't think he's better than. I don't even think he's better than Asante Samuel Jr. I think Asante Samuel Jr. is our best corner. So I'm fine with him losing him and trading him back to the Patriots. I don't even care if it was for a 6th round, 7th round pick. But lastly, we got C.J. Stroud has been having an amazing season this year. He's passed for over 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns, and no picks. He's one of few players to do that. Like, you know, in any season, like players like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes have did it. So he joins an elite group like that. But yeah, you know, again, like I said, let me know like what games this week 5 y'all got y'all eye on. Like I said, me, I got Ravens versus the Steelers, AFC North matchup, Texans versus the Falcons. I got the Eagles versus the Rams. I got the not the Chiefs and Vikings, the Cowboys and 49ers. So those are my 4 games I got highlighted. Like I said, my predictions, let me know if y'all disagree with any of them, like why. If you disagree, like tell me why, and I can understand your point, you know. And if you're like in Phoenix City or Columbus and you want to be on my podcast, I'm gonna try to make it work, you know. I want to try to get more people on, maybe like around winter break. Once winter break comes, because like I said, I'll be on the break from school, have a little more free time to adjust to people's schedules. So, but yeah, that's, you know, today's show. You know, MLB playoffs, week 6 college football, week 5 NFL season. Like I said, you know, I really appreciate each and every one of y'all that always tune in. Last week I posted an episode for my birthday. I appreciate each and every one of those watch or continue to watch my episodes when you can. I don't, like I said again, I don't care about the views. I mean, of course, I would love to get 1,000 views each episode, but that's gonna come over hard work and consistency. Me continue to post episodes, me continue to get better as a journalist / analyst. Me like, you know, continue once I get a better camera, a better MacBook, so I don't have to record my phone. I can use a camera. I can edit. I can have better guests. I can have a better setup. You know, I got my little sign up here. You know, so, you know, and I'm very, very serious about being an ESPN journalist, or Fox Sports journalist. I'm very serious. My goal is to make $1 to $2 million a year, being one of the best there is. Debating with Stephen A. Smith, debating with Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, any of the top sports journalists in the game right now. So, and I'm coming for them. Like, you know, I don't care how long it takes. I'm coming for them, and I promise I'm gonna make y'all proud. I'm not gonna stop this podcast at all, and bust my ass to get where I want to be. I ain't gonna lie, you know, it does be the days it's frustrating, especially with school, but I'm gonna keep it going. You know, and just do me a favor, continue to pray for me, and always try to see if you can get one person you know to subscribe, whether it's a coworker, family member, anybody, or even if yourself. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. You know, so. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all are the best. This is Six Pack Cam signing out, and I'll catch y'all next episode.